Those for, the Communist Party is 10 votes. Jabloko received 11 votes. The Liberal Democrat Party also received 11 votes. And in first place so far is United Russia with 16 votes. So work to do, gentlemen.
Okay, next question, please.
Hello, yes, I'm from the Novaya Gazeta newspaper, and I put a question to all the candidates. Under the presidency of Mr. Putin, we have seen over a dozen journalists slain in all parts of Russia and overseas. I'd like to ask the other candidates what they can do to guarantee a free press in Russia.
I think that was sufficiently loud for us.
Yeah.
Well, that's one of the things actually the Jabloko Party are aiming towards, because I don't know if you know, but a week ago one of our own candidates for the Dagestan region was killed, and he was not allowed to speak in the press. And this could be something to do with it, we think, because lots of politicians are complaining that they are being harassed, and we do think that there needs to be more media freedom. And so that means that taking the media away from state control, such as NTV, who is owned by the Kremlin. So we would give the media back to private companies rather than having it under state control.
Okay, well, my friend raises an important point about the freedom of media in Russia. Free media is absolutely vital to any democracy, but it must not stray into the hands of people whose interests go against the Russian state and whose monetary interests and who want to tear Russia apart. And this is the problem that we've had in the past with oligarchs and others. So of course the free media is important, and of course we have Novaya Gazeta is one of the, I believe, the independent papers in Russia. And also I get this aimed a lot at Russia and the Russian people, that we do not have democracy, we do not have freedom of speech. Well, the fact that we are here today tells me that we have some freedom of speech and we have freedom of media. Being filmed up here. I do more question and answers than any other leader, certainly in the industrialized world. On the website, Russian people have blogs. There are numerous newspapers, numerous television stations, which are...
Mr. Putin, if that was the case, then why was Garry Kasparov arrested last week?
Gary Kasparov was arrested because he took part in an unauthorized riot. Now, he was authorized in a different part of Moscow to do this riot and to oppose our party, but he decided and he and his other cronies decided to do this in a part which was not authorized. And so we have to enforce the law. We can't go back to days when we had lawlessness and inefficiency in Russia. And to reiterate my point, of course free media is important, but it must be truly free. We don't want media like Rupert Murdoch in the UK, in the US, serve only a certain interest and not the many. So that would be my stance on it.
So then why was our candidate banned from TV when he was speaking out about human rights?
Sorry, could every candidate respond first, then we'll come back to you. Go on.
Yeah, I would largely agree with what Mr. Putin was saying, to be honest. And I think that the media, a large part of the media should be under the control of the state, because it's important to protect Russia's interests as a whole. The media has to act in the interests of the country, of the people. And freedom of press, it's important, but it's not a prime issue. If I'm totally honest, I think that it's important that the media should be under the control of the state.
Well, with my two friends, I would to an extent agree that every main industry within Russia should be working towards Russian greatness. But I myself would say that freedom of speech and freedom of expression, we would bring this around in a way where I'm strongly of the belief that the more you try and suppress something, the stronger it becomes. And so, therefore, to stop someone saying something just by not allowing it to go to TV, just by not allowing it to get into the news, I would say this is counterproductive to the issue, and that this isn't helping Russia at all. I would say that by suppressing any movement, it is going to rise up from underneath and become stronger. And therefore, I would propose there were any views to be expressed which I and my party viewed as being alien influences, not in Russia's best interests, we would meet these with levels of debate and discussion and come to a consensus, because I think that is what communism and socialism should be about in the 21st century. We learned from up until 1990 in the USSR, suppression does not work, as we found out to our loss. But we have changed, and we know how things should work now, and that is why we should be voting for the communists.
Can I just say something?
Okay, so I think we might just take to the next question, and then we can maybe see if we can continue the discussion on this issue. Are there any other questions in the audience?
I was just wondering your thoughts on the Western boycott of observing elections and its effect on democracy.
Yes, the Western boycott of
Sorry, yeah. The question was about the Western boycott of the Russian elections and what people's perceptions of that are.
The truth is that Washington didn't want to send these people. They didn't let them come because they wanted to undermine the legitimacy of the Russian people and the Russian elections. And we have observed this election, and we will continue to do so. But we can only, when we have these people in the West who are propagating the things that they are, and lies about representatives, we can only do so much. And vote in response.
What do you make of claims in today's papers that that workers were being forced to vote for United Russia, otherwise face the sack or face other punishments?
Well, Mr. Chairman, that's a very handy point you raised, because that's very similar to this. We have these lies in Western papers about this sort of thing. The Central Election Commission and other independent bodies suggest that there will not be any corruption of these elections. This is predominantly lies from outside regimes who seek to undermine the Russian people and the Russian legitimacy and the strength and the continuity which the Russian people need. These people want to see the dissolution of Russia again. And this won't be allowed to happen. We're very happy to have observers, but Washington won't let it. That's democracy.
Well, I just have a question I'd also like to pose to my contemporaries, because all three of you spoke in your speeches about how what the Russian people need and the will of the people. But I'd like to know how did you come to these conclusions when you have no direct contact with any of the people, unlike the Communist Party, who has 27,000 Soviets in all of Russia's 89 regions. We're in direct contact with many Russian citizens every single day. How can you claim to know what their needs are when you don't have contact?
My friend, we run the country, and we've run the country for some time, and your band of circus and your band of goons have been parading and following in Parliament for the last 5 years. Your time is past, my friend. You are no more in connection with the Russian people than anyone outside of this country, anyone who talks in the Western media. We run this country, and I talk to the Russian people on a daily basis, and I'm elected by the Russian people. I know what they want. And I know what they want is continuity, and I know what they want is stability, and not lawlessness and inefficiency and these abstract schemes taken from those textbooks.
Yeah. But perhaps if the other candidates would like to respond to both your comment and the question about the elections.
Yeah, well, I'm just going to come in on that because, first of all, I wanted to refer back to a point that was made by a representative of the Communist Party. He was saying that, we've learnt that when you suppress something, you only make it stronger and it eventually rises up. Well, I was just going to say that if you want to learn